Hi everybody and welcome back to Total OS Today. Well, I hope everybody had a nice holiday weekend last weekend here in the States. I know I did. But for this particular screencast, I wanted to talk about some newsworthy items and then talk about the very first podcast, TosCast, that I did last week with Infinitely Galactic. Okay, I have lots to talk about, so let's get started. First up is Zorin. Zorin OS 5, the Core and Ultimate, have been released. When I came home tonight, I got a personal message from the Zorin team letting me know what's going on. Briefly, the Zorin OS team are proud to release the Zorin OS 5 Core and Ultimate, which bring a lot of new and enhanced features to Zorin OS, and it's designed specifically for Windows users. This release utilizes the Genome 2x Classic environment, or 2.x Classic environment instead of Ubuntu's Unity shell. Some new features are the installer welcome video, a new theme, and updated artwork, simplified application names, updated software, and many program changes to improve and simplify the user experience. This also includes some exclusive Zorin features such as the the look changer, the Internet Browser Manager, the Zorin Background Plus. So the Zorin OS Core 5 and the Ultimate are here. I will probably be doing here a review of the Zorin Ultimate edition probably sometime in the future. I may just be doing it either as a full install or just inside a virtual machine. I haven't decided yet, but I will be taking a look again at Zorin OS 5. One thing, the Zorin PC, if I scroll down here, the Zorin PC will also be delayed until further notice. This was a product delay of Zorin and the PC itself from last week of May 31st. Okay, next up on the news wire, Ubuntu, at least some news from me. I've had Ubuntu running Unity for the last 2 weeks in my HP multimedia laptop. And if I had to describe it in a word, it's been stable. No hiccups, no crashes. Boots up fine, runs fine. It does run noticeably slower than the previous versions that I've used. I dare say it runs just about as fast or as slow, depending on your point of view, as Windows 7 does. And the machine that I use does have 2 gigabytes of RAM. Now that's not necessarily a bad thing. Anyway, like I said, it is stable, solid. I'm very happy running Unity, and as a Windows user, I've kind of gotten used to it. Okay, next up on the news wire, poor Sony. Sony has been hacked again. This is from Reuters, I believe. Sony has been hacked again, exposing more security issues for the company less than a month after intruders stole personal information from more than 100 million online user accounts. Well, what could I say for Sony except 2 things? I enjoy using, I've usually had no problems in the past using Sony products. I think it is a fine company with fine products, but in this situation I am glad I am using an Xbox 360 for all my gaming needs. Alright, next up on the Total OS Today channel, I now officially have 2 followers. Thank you to Paul Duncan, and thank you to Amir. I'm very proud to have 2 official followers in about a month. The website has been out. Once again, it is totalostoday.blogspot.com. The website is very new. Nothing fancy here, trying to keep it simple for both Windows and Linux users. Once again, I've mentioned this before. If you have any support questions or answers, please post them here. I will keep this tuned up and up to date as much as possible. Really, what started as a hobby with the YouTube channel and now this, it's really grown into something more than I ever expected. Thank you to all of the thousands of viewers out there who look at my channel. It's more than I expected. Started this as a hobby last year, and thank you for all the help and suggestions and comments that you've made. And if I can ask for just a little bit more help, share the website and the YouTube channel with your friends. Really, the next step here is for me to try and become a partnership to get the funds needed to buy better equipment, such as microphones and cameras and computers to, reinvest back into the Toss Today channel. Okay, and finally, before I talk about the podcast, those of you who watch my channel, some of the intros that I use, there's a very, maybe 3-second picture of the dashboard and the steering wheel, electronic dashboard of the new Nissan Leaf. I'm sure all of us are happy donating the billions of dollars to the oil companies and paying for the price of gas, but the Nissan Leaf, which is the first mass-produced all-electric vehicle, I believe is really probably one of the cars of the future. The U.S. government has purchased the Nissan Leaf as part of a 116 car fleet chosen by the Departments of Energy and Defense as part of their new, it says here, electric vehicle pilot program. And it says here the relatively small grouping of electric vehicles is expected to save a whopping 29,000 gallons of gas, reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 260 tons, and save an impressive $109,000 in taxpayer dollars per year. Not bad for something that's not yet widely available for consumers. It's starting to trickle out there to some people here in the States. I did get a very nice reply from a gentleman, I believe in California, who has the Nissan Leaf and he loves it. I don't know about you, but I think it would be super cool never to see a gas station again. Well, except for coffee, and cookies and chocolate bars and stuff like that. But if you have one or know anybody who has a Nissan Leaf, please let me know. I'm kind of interested in the real world experiences of this car. If I get enough posts, I'll be happy to do another video of the Nissan Leaf on the Total OS Today channel. Really, I try to talk about all things technology and not just computer systems. So, once again, if you have a Nissan Leaf or know someone, let me know and I will be happy to talk about it. Okay, now getting back to the TosCast #1, the podcast special that I did featuring Infinitely Galactic from Australia. I toyed around with the idea of doing a podcast here in the past, just as something brainstorming, trying to keep the channel as fresh as possible. And I had enjoyed looking at Galactic's videos from the start. Very fine job in all his videos. If you haven't seen the channel, it's Infinitely Galactic. And check out the quasi-fake Ubuntu commercial he did a while back. It's really not bad at all. But as far as the podcast goes, again, it was just an idea. I had sent him a personal message about doing a podcast. He thought it was an awesome idea, and we did it. Now, this was our very first podcast. If you haven't done one before, there are really so many variables involved, technical difficulties, time zone issues. I believe he's 12. I believe he's actually 14 hours ahead of me. So trying to get a time more convenient for both of us to do the podcast. It actually worked out last week. Issues like that, of course, not knowing the person, the speaker in person, there always might be issues of personality clashes. If there will be any kind of rapport or chemistry between the two speakers. As it turned out, the TosCast or podcast turned out I thought it was terrific. Honestly, on the top of my head, I thought if we can get this going and talk about things in general. Now, I had a notepad and a pen of some topics I wanted to talk about, and really, to be perfectly honest, I thought maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes tops, and that would be it. As it turned out, we talked for over an hour. I believe we talked for around 30, 35 minutes. Then we took a short break. He had to tend to a phone call. We came back and we finished it up. There was obviously more to talk about as far as Windows versus Linux or YouTube and comments in general. But I just thought that after an hour, I thought we started off with a very good podcast. We had many thoughts in common. I thought there were some technical difficulties on my end. I used a free Skype recorder to record the podcast session, and I heard him okay, but for some reason on my end, it didn't quite come out right. I had to actually ask him to download the podcast that he recorded to me so I could edit it on my channel. I'm assuming it had something to do with the type of microphone that I had or the quality of the microphone that I had. I guess I'm just going to have to break down and buy a higher quality microphone, perhaps a USB mic. This is, for me, this is one of the issues of being on a budget. But I don't mind spending it and doing it because I think in the future we'll probably do more podcasts. As far as doing one with Infinitely Galactic, I believe he leaves for vacation this week or next week. I believe it's this week for the rest of the month. So as far as doing another TosCast podcast with him, it probably will not be until July. As far as doing one with someone else, I'm all for it. If you have any suggestions, comments, constructive criticisms, or know someone who might like to do one, or someone that you might suggest, I have an open mind. I don't make any promises, but I try to keep a friendly, open attitude towards doing these videos, and try to keep it as spicy, I guess. Maybe that's not the word I'm looking for, but try to keep it as lively as possible rather than just doing tutorials and reviews all the time, where I think that can get somewhat stale. I think that's it for this screencast. I think I'll just end it here. As always, thank you for watching Total OS today, and as always, I will catch you sometime in the future. Take care, all.